Hello, my beautiful friends. Namaste. I'm Jill Loftus of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your planetary energy forecast for the week of June the 3rd, 2024. Now, the month of June has some tension. May was definitely a month where things kind of smoothed out. But we begin the month from the 1st to the 3rd, and I know this is on the 3rd, but I just want to mention that we've been going through this process of Mars, the planet of action, but also the planet of war, touching Eris, E-R-I-S. Eris is an asteroid. In astronomy, she's considered a dwarf planet, and she's the goddess of discord. She hangs out at around 24-25 degrees of Aries, doesn't move much in the lifetime, okay? So, but when they come together, there can be some tension, and so that tones the beginning of the month and the beginning of this week. Now, we also have some beautiful energy forming in the sky. Venus and the sun are walking hand in hand for several days now. They'll be kind of moving together. Now, they're both in the sign of Gemini, the very chatty, flirty, talkative, mental, communicative, expressive sign. There's, in fact, a lot of energy in Gemini and will be more energy in Gemini. We've got Mercury coming in on the 3rd into that sign. And so that joins Jupiter in Gemini as well. And so that area of your life, wherever that is in your chart, and if you are a Gemini sun, moon, or rising, there's a huge activation for you. Now, one of the things we're also watching is that when Jupiter just moved into Gemini last week, it came into a beautiful contact with Pluto in Aquarius. So the air signs really receiving this like blessing energy, a burst of optimism, of hope, of wonderful information flowing through, radical new ideas, beauty in the breakdown kind of thing. Now, Mercury, when she steps into the sign of Gemini, she's going to pick up that beautiful flow with Pluto as well. And so you might really see some synchronistic conversations, ideas, take note of what's flowing through the mind. Remember, with Gemini energy, though, it can be a little bit scattered, a little bit of overwhelm, and you definitely, at least for the very beginning of this month, probably through around when the solstice happens, you're going to really need to make sure that you stay grounded physically, mentally, and emotionally. So that's an important thing to remember. Now, we do have also a gorgeous connection with Venus and the Sun coming together at 14 degrees and sending blessings to the North and South nodes, which are in Aries, the independent sign, and Libra, the sign of relationship and partnership. So some real potential karmic conversations happening at the beginning of this week. Really being able to express your needs in a better way, finding the right words to really tell someone how you feel. I think it's important that you go ahead and have these conversations this week. Definitely have an easier time of energetic flow the first couple days of the week versus when we get towards the end of the week. Now, starting on the 5th, we're going to start to pick up a little clash energy between that Sun-Venus combination and the planet Saturn. Now, remember, when any planet is traveling close to the sun, it can be what we call combust. It means that the light of the sun is so bright, the energy is so strong that it kind of blots out the energy of that inner planet. So this, when it happens with Venus, it can make love and money a little bit more complicated. It can feel like, I was describing this to a client the other day, it's kind of like in a tornado, in a storm, right? There's the eye, the center of it. And in the center, you can see everything going on around you, but it's peaceful in that center, right? It's a potent moment. When you get out into the edges of it, though, there's a little chaos. And so, especially for the Venus rule signs of Taurus and Libra, be a little bit more careful. And this could also have a really interesting effect on my Leo people because the sun is your star. Now, when that flow of them coming together, that moment of magical understanding, make sure you're aware of it. I mean, it'll be an aha moment. But even as that aha moment comes through, we begin to pick up this difficult angle with the Saturn. This is a real reality check. But the problem is that the reality check is coming from Pisces, that Piscean area of life. And so even though there is this kind of hard edge to it, it's hard to see exactly where it's coming from. Saturn in Pisces is a little bit like who's the power? Who's the power? Where are the rules? What are the rules? It's like navigating in the fog or in water. I equate this Saturn and Pisces journey. You've heard me mention this before. It's like walking through a pond and you're up to your knees, and like each footfall, you're not sure what's under there. But I think this Saturn also will give some sticking power to this energy of this Venus Sun. It'll really help lock in the conversations that you've had, the ideas that you've had. And in fact, we have a new moon this week. It's on the 6th. It's at 8:38 a.m. Eastern at 16 degrees, 18 minutes of Gemini with Venus right there. And so I believe that contact with the Saturn is actually a little bit of glue to help you with those intentions that you're setting, those manifestations in the Gemini area of life. If you're not sure where Gemini is for you, then set some general intentions around learning to express yourself better, getting smarter, using your mind as a tool and collaborating with your mind instead of allowing it to kind of take over or become the enemy. Now, another thing with this, when we get to this new moon on the 6th, very next day, we begin to pick up some tension from Mars and Pluto. Mars-Pluto is always a little tense, but it's going to be a little extra, I think, this time because Mars is going to be getting to the very, very end of Aries, that 29-degree mark. That is a time when the curriculum is trying to be finished up, wrapped up, and there's an acceleration. Mars is like, I got to get all this stuff done before I go into Taurus, and I have to, relax and eat cheese. You know what I mean? Like it's this drive to like get things done. But as soon as it goes into Taurus, which happens on the 9th, it slips into Taurus, and it's going to begin to pick up a stronger square, difficult angle to the Pluto. So now we are finishing the week with tension with Saturn Sun, Saturn Venus, and tension between Mars and Pluto. Mars and Pluto tensions can bring accidents, arguments, violence. I have real concerns for the wars that are occurring in the world. It's possible that the contact with Saturn, because Venus is going to be close to the Sun, there might be some passionate assistance available, but I think instead you're going to really see authority figures buckle down. Once again, not really see who's in charge or like who's pulling the strings. And then there's that Mars energy coming into Taurus. I would expect some volatility financially in the markets and potential again for weather, for extreme weather events. And that's going to continue into next week. So definitely get the traction that you can at the beginning of the week because the end of the week ends with some volatility. Now, Mars, if you know where the end of Aries, early Taurus, if you know where early Aquarius is for you, then I want you to be a little bit more careful, particularly if it has something to do with your ascendant, the first house, the 6th house, right? So be less argumentative, slow down a little bit, be wise, all right? Now, the light for the week, the Jupiter, Mercury, trine Pluto, like I love this. This is like, oh my gosh, it's like all these possible ways to kind of resolve these problems, all these things that Pluto has broken down. It's like, hey, but look at we found the gold nugget in the midst of the chaos. So I love that. I'm really liking this new moon as well. Check your chart. Where is it for you? It's a really auspicious new moon, I think. And then I'm really liking the relationship conversations that could be coming up with this nice contact between Sun, Venus, and the nodes. Now, of course, there's lots to be wise and careful with. That Mars Eris can be very argumentative, highly emotional. So if you have points or in the cardinal signs around 24, 25, I would be very cautious. And that's Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So pay attention to that. And then I want you to also think of really being wise with that Pluto Mars. You need to up your energy field, raise your vibrations so that you're not argumentative, you're not reactive, you're not experiencing the road rage. Like I know people who can be, I was just having a client talk about the other day, like I have always experienced this person as a very kind person, but she tells me that when she drives, she's screaming at everybody, right? And so you don't stuff it down, okay? It's like a coil. You don't want to compress it, boing, right? It's more about processing, moving. So make sure you're journaling, go for a nice, run or something like that. Just be careful of injuries. If you notice that, you have a little slip of the knife or, pull a hot pan and get a little burn, okay, that's a symbol that you need to slow down, that there's some potential energies around you that could be tense or conflictive, and you want to not be resonant with it. You don't want to be like the two magnets that come together. You want to feel like that violent energy, it just moves away from you. And then finally, the last thing to worry about is, not to worry about, to pay attention to manage the shadow of the week is the tension with Saturn. And again, honor the Saturn. If you find yourself having to redo something, if you find yourself having to work hard at something, if you find yourself having to play by the rules, restructure something, understand that that's the job of Saturn, right? It's just here to show you where you need to build something up. And so those hard lessons, they're a little uncomfortable, but they're really necessary. All right. Well, I hope this was useful and helpful, my friends. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope that everything stays and remains peaceful for you. Let's see what the tarot has to say about this week. Hello, my beautiful friends. Let's check out our Isis Lotus Tarot spread for the collective for the week of June the 3rd, 2024. I'm hoping things are not as tense as I kind of think they are going to be. Yeah. Sometimes, sometimes honestly, I want to be wrong. All right. Let's take a look. The cards will show us two different ways to manage the energy. So the first card is the basic influence of the past, like kind of where we're coming from. High Priestess. So this is a very positive, it shows that for the month of June, we're really trying to connect to our guides. We're really trying to see the big picture. We're really trying to embrace the divine feminine. The world needs the divine feminine. My goodness. And then there's you, Five of Swords, too focused on one thing. So narrow-minded focus. Yeah. I'm feeling that, yeah. And our current circumstances for the week is there's a choice to be made. All right, there's a sense of waffling or standing between, standing at the crossroads, right? So we have to move forward. We have to choose a direction. And as these energies all come together, the cards reassure us with the Nine of Wands that we are moving in the right direction, and we've done a lot of the work already. All right, so do not fear. Key card of the future, Page of Wands. So wanting to initiate something new, okay? The spark of the idea. And it's more than just the idea because it's Wands energy. It's like, I want to take this action, all right? And then the opposing forces in play, we've got the Empress. So you're wanting to birth something. You're wanting to create something. Or the potential that you, Six of Pentacles, have something you already in the works that you just want to really dive into and pour energy into. Now, the near future key card, Queen of Wands. Taking care of business, man. Taking care of what needs to be done. It's like that, Orion, my Mountain Dreamer poem that's something like, don't tell me how much money you have. Tell me after a tough night you can get up and take care of the kids. Like, show me who you are. Show me what you're doing. So Queen of Wands, she is, again, you start with the Page of Wands, then you would have the Knight of Wands. I tend to think of the Knight of Wands as more of like an anger or upset action versus like measured, wise action. But the Queen of Wands is more like, nurturing this idea to fruition. Now the modifiers on the Empress side, Justice, weighing out the odds, trying to make a decision. On the Six of Pentacles side, Two of Cups. So there could be a love situation that comes up. Once you pour the energy into this new idea, it could be like, hi, hello. It could be a person, could be a perfect situation. On the Empress and Justice side of things, we've got additional information. The Knight of Swords, which says, hey, act rationally. Send your mental energy behind the things that you want to do. Have the conversations. We keep talking about this with Gemini energy. On the Six of Pentacles and Two of Cups side, we have the Wheel of Fortune. There's some karma involved in whatever this perfect person or perfect situation is. Now, the two possible progressions or solutions on the Empress side. So we've got Page of Cups, an offer comes up. All right. So we want to birth something, we want to create. Right. We're in this very potent time and energy. We tend to it. We make the decisions rationally, logically, impartially. We take the mental actions, and then out of that springs this offer that we have the potential to take advantage of. On the Six of Pentacles side, we're pouring energy into something, right? We're maintaining it with the Queen of Wands, and ta-da! The right situation or person appears. Very karmic. And now here's the Knight. I was just talking about him. So it could be anger, upset, or action, right? Well, we'll see what the next card is with that. On the Empress side, we've got that Page of Cups offer and the Hanging Man. So if you're in this creative birthing kind of energy, it's important to weigh out the decisions logically, wait for the right thing that really emotionally feels good, and then realize it won't come together immediately. You're going to have to be patient. On the Six of Pentacles side, you're pouring time and energy into something you've already committed to. You've got to tend to it. The right person or situation shows up. You see the karmic nature of it all. You watch the wheel turn. Then you have to initiate action. But here's the Seven of Wands. You have to also maintain good boundaries. So yeah, two really distinctly different, I think, ways of sorting out through the week. But for both sides end up in this it's a very movement oriented week, so it looks like a lot to happen. So stay balanced, stay wise, stay grounded, and I'll see you next week.